I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network, and this is a breaking news alert and a disturbing one to report. The husband of Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, Paul Pelosi, was brutally assaulted by a right-wing MAGA extremist in the early hours of Friday at approximately 2:27 a.m., an individual named David DePape, who's 42 years old and who posted all of this right-wing extremist conspiracy stuff, engaged in a home invasion of the Pelosi residence, was asking for Nancy Pelosi when he broke in, was saying, "Where is Nancy Pelosi? Where is Nancy Pelosi?" A struggle ensued with Paul Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was not at the residence. She was in Washington, D.C. with her security detail. A struggle ensued with Paul Pelosi, and apparently David DePape had attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer, striking him and causing him grievous injuries. Paul Pelosi, fortunately, from what we know now, is expected to make a recovery, but he was seriously injured in this home invasion by this right-wing extremist, David DePape, who was posting all this right-wing conspiracy propaganda that we see MAGA Republican leaders posting and talking about frequently. And fortunately, Paul Pelosi appears will be able to recover, but a horrific home invasion that took place, and just a horrific and tragic circumstance and tragic situation. And we'd expect in times like these for our nation to come together and to condemn this conduct. I mean, prior to this conduct, you have MAGA Republicans encouraging violence against Nancy Pelosi. And here we have statements of Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that Nancy Pelosi should be charged with treason. We'll put that up. Here's a clip of Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the Republican Party in Congress. He said that, and this was a few months back, he said that one of the hardest things of being Speaker of the House, if the Republicans win, he said, which they're not going to, but he said, would be that he would want to hit Nancy Pelosi with the gavel. And violent statements like that are made all the time. You know, one of the strange things also, though, before the attack that took place at the Pelosi residence, Marjorie Taylor Greene, literally the day before this attack that took place earlier this morning, Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted, "Just wait until tomorrow." This is actually a tweet by Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you'd expect that the country would come together in a time like this, and that this is not a political issue. But as I've talked about over and over again here on the MeidasTouch network, for MAGA Republicans, part of their ideology, unfortunately, is this extremism, is promoting this violence and hatred and otherizing, and they're so far down the rabbit hole that they can't even take a step back and acknowledge what is going on. And here, this is a statement that was made from the RNC, the Republican National Committee chair, Ronna McDaniel. And this was her speaking about it after the news broke about Nancy Pelosi's home being invaded, her husband being grievously injured. By the way, I should have mentioned earlier that David DePape, the individual who engaged in this conduct, has been arrested and is being charged with attempted homicide. But with this attempted homicide taking place and home invasion of Nancy Pelosi's home and residence, and her husband being almost killed, the chair of the Republican National Committee, Ronna McDaniel, basically said, she did this press conference and she was giving a rally and saying, "Who here is ready to fire Nancy Pelosi? Are you ready to fire Nancy Pelosi?" Here, play this clip. On the other hand, you have the extremist propaganda network, Fox, talking about trying to connect this to crime in California that this shows that crime is on the rise, rather than saying, no, this is a MAGA extremist who is posting the type of memes, who is posting the type of statements and the types of things that your network promotes every single day. The type of memes, the type of conspiracies, the rhetoric that this individual posts about Democrats as communists, and his anti-women rhetoric and his conspiracies about vaccines. I mean, fully down the MAGA Republican QAnon rabbit hole. But frankly, the post of David DePape look no different than the post of MAGA Republican leaders. The posts are almost identical when you actually look at some of these posts. So you have Fox that's just completely lying and gaslighting and saying, oh, it shows that there's crime in California, because they can't for a second take a step back and say, no, this is a MAGA extremist who you've radicalized. And then you have the competition of which network's more MAGA radical right now. And so you have this individual, Greg Kelly, who hosts Newsmax, one of Newsmax's show. So his post right after, and let me tell you how despicable this is. This is what Greg Kelly posts. He goes, just quote, wondering if Nancy Pelosi tried to, all caps, stage her own mini January 6th, complete with leaving the doors and windows open for, quote, insurrectionists and this DePape fellow, that or she can't secure her home or office. I mean, what a despicable thing. So Greg Kelly deleted that, but here are other messages that Greg Kelly wrote, which are still up right now. He wrote, wait, an 82-year-old Paul Pelosi, they say, was attacked by a guy with a hammer, yet he's expected to make a full recovery. And why is Nancy Pelosi requesting privacy at this time? No, we demand all the info and scoop. What is going on in the Pelosi family? And he wrote other posts, which I will read for you right now. One of the other posts that he wrote, he put a photo of Paul Pelosi up. And he says, wow, Paul Pelosi, married to Nancy, had another run-in with law enforcement, question mark. What's with this guy? I suspect what the cops call a, quote, lifestyle component to his recent troubles. Full investigation. That's what Greg Kelly said. Other despicable posts that he made. He goes, where is Dave DePape from? Did he really say, where is Nancy? As CNN is reporting, DePape only attacked Pelosi once he saw the cops, or was there violence that preceded the cops' arrival? What the hell is going on? Then he goes on and says, Paul Pelosi was sentenced to 3 years probation in August for his drunk driving conviction last May. Were his, quote, activities this morning in any way in violation? Where was he last night? Alcohol involved? I mean, how despicable can you get here? And here is someone by the name of John Cardillo. Here's what John Cardillo writes. He says, I'm going to say it. I couldn't care less what happens to Paul Pelosi. He and his wife are evil mother effers who have raped and pillaged this nation to give themselves a 9-figure net worth with complete disregard for what happens to Americans. These people are demonic, he writes. I mean, how despicable I'm as I'm reading these, I'm shocked. I mean, I shouldn't be shocked because of who these people are and what they do. John Cardillo identifies himself. He says, I tweet what you're afraid to say. NYPD and radio TV host once upon a time. Now I'm just a wannabe cowboy who likes to shoot stuff, and he's one of these right-wing influencers, if you want to know who he was, because I didn't really know who he was. That's what's going on right now in this country. You have a brutal assault on Nancy Pelosi's husband, an attempted murder of Nancy Pelosi, and you have, frankly, inspired by MAGA extremists, you see, who encourage violence against Nancy Pelosi. And then the response is this. The response is this. You know, we've done videos here at the MeidasTouch network talking about how Republicans are making a mass exodus away from this MAGA extremist party. The MAGA extremist party calls Republicans, other Republicans, rhinos, and the combination of the violence and the weirdness and the pro-fascism and the cult behavior of these MAGA extremists it's despicable. It's disgusting. It is completely anti-American that exists. That is condoned. That is encouraged. That is what a Republican Party is. Come on. I am sickened by this. Keep you posted here on the MeidasTouch network of more developments. We'll be investigating this more. Hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your support. And in addition, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Support our independent media channel there. It goes a long way to help our investigations and our reports. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
This November is Rowvember. MeidasTouch just released its brand new collection of Rowvember t-shirts and pins to let the country know what's at stake this upcoming midterm election. Go to store.MeidasTouch.com to grab yours. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.